So very
Those are
excited.
awesome.
He gave them to me today, and I threw them right on.
Dude, your size and everything.
And they're great airport shoes because then you can just pop them off, pop them on.
You got to get your Global One and your TSA pre-approval.
I can. I tried, but I did get the
Yeah,
pre-check.
he's had some past indiscretion, shall we say?
Oh,
and,
well,
yeah, they do.
We can talk about all that later.
I was naughty a long time ago, so.
No one minds. So, Jason, 22 years later after Clerks, and you are still all about Jay, and I want to know, like, how unexpected is that to you, first of all?
Sorry, what do you mean exactly? The unexpected that I still am Jay?
Well,
Wait.
I think that
I'm always going to be Jay. No, I'm just kidding. No, tell me.
The first thing I mean is like, wow, so it's an actor's dream to have such longevity with a character. You know what I mean? Second thing, you didn't really have acting training. You kind of like, in a way, like fell into this business, and I think that's part of what makes you so watchable. You're very genuine. You're very natural, and you know. I guess
Thank
I'm
you.
just saying.
No, I get what you're saying now. Sorry,
Jay
it took
is like
me a
still
second.
here
See, I'm still
amongst
dense.
us.
Yes.
22 years later, and with Clerks 3, Mallrats 2, you know, alive and well. How's that feel?
It feels awesome. Again, I did fall into it because Kevin and I grew up in the same town and we're friends. And he's like, I wrote a script. And again, 20 years ago, like now I feel like if someone came up to me and was like, hey, I'm making a movie, like I believe that with the internet and the GoPros and the tech we have now, if someone's making a movie, they're really going to go and make a movie. But then it was like the big VHS cameras with the VHS tapes and shit. So when he said we're going to make a movie, I really thought he was borrowing like his grandmother's or aunt's or someone's camera, and he was going to just film a little fun movie of us. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. And then I remember it was a few weeks later that he gave me the script, and he's like, you got to memorize all this stuff. And it said Jay, and he's like, look, I base this character off you because I feel that your humor and the way you speak your mind and say what you're thinking, and you're obnoxious and pull your balls out and everything else you do, he found funny, and he wondered if other people would find it funny. So he based the character off me, and I remember him giving me the script and being like, dude, I can't do this. And he's like, I don't get it. What do you mean you can't do it? That's the stuff you've said. So Clerks 1 is exactly how I acted at that age. Like, minus selling the weed. I used to smoke a lot of weed. I'd dance around, pull my balls out, and do weird stuff. I still do that still, but now, you know.
That's good. That's
now
good.
only just not now in public because I can get
only in
arrested
airports,
and
that's
exactly,
why you can't get the pre-approval. But you know what? You jump
I
off
didn't
the.
finish yet. I want to finish.
Okay,
I keep going, girl.
Go.
So
But maybe I had a compliment to give you.
Well, no, I want to take it, but wait. Sorry. So that was that. So I did fall into it. That's that part. Second part is, yes, it's super surreal to me because we did the movie, and then I was roofing at the time, and I went back to roofing, and it wasn't until Mallrats that we went out, and it was like our first studio movie, and there was like wardrobe, and there was like, we're staying in a hotel, and there was per diem, which to me, I was like, we get per diem. They gave us cash. If no one knows what per diem is, they give you cash to eat and stuff like that for the week, and I was like, this is awesome. So it was so surreal, and I had such a blast, and I got to meet Stan Lee for the first time, which I've been reading comics since I was like 12, and at this point I was 19, 20. I don't know, it was amazing. And so yes, it is still to me surreal. I was telling someone earlier at the table, you know, it's like even now, we did a commercial a few months back, and maybe it's been longer. My time frame is off, but you know, I was sitting there, we did an Audi commercial, Kevin directed it, and it was Stan Lee, Lou Ferrigno, Michael Rooker, and I'm like sitting there, and again, even like, you know, 8 months ago, I'm like, this is so surreal. I'm like hanging out with the Hulk, and Stan Lee, and shit, and Rooker. It's been amazing, and it's still surreal to this day. And I'm hanging out up here on stage with someone from Buffy, which I love, Buffy, Angel. You know, comic book men. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, I love comic book men. So
We all love comic book
I'll take that
men.
compliment now.
Okay, well, what I was going to say, my friend, is in Clerks, you literally jump off the screen. Like, the movie's chugging along, and you're watching, and it's a great indie film. It's like a great, you know, that kind of filmmaking is kind of lost nowadays, but it's great. And then you come on, and it's like, bam, the movie takes off. So it was such a dynamic performance, and I think that it really helped maybe that you didn't have acting training. What do you think?
I mean, I guess, you know what? It's weird to think back to them because I was so, like, I remember how nervous I was because, again, like I said, when I read it, I was like, I can't do this. And he's like, what do you mean? It's stuff you say all the time. But the difference I realize is when I'm being obnoxious, sometimes I'm doing it to have someone laugh, but a lot of times, and more so then, it was for my own entertainment. If I pull my ball bag out, it wasn't because I'm like, oh, she's going to laugh, he's going to laugh. It's like, I'm going to laugh when I get to see their face, when they look down and see my ball bag. So I realized it was to most of the stuff I did and said was to entertain myself, or just, so when it came to me being in front of a camera and it was like, be funny. You know, it was just awkward and weird, and I was like, I would clam up, so I'd have to drink. So I don't know, looking back then, I don't feel like it was natural to me. I guess it was natural, but at the same time, I was so nervous that it didn't seem natural. Like, until I started feeling comfortable, you know, I don't know, it didn't seem really natural to me. But I guess, again, it was me being myself with a little bit of nerves behind it, so.
Yeah, well, it's
yeah.
amazing, and
Thank
it's
you.
a
I appreciate
character
it.
that
Thank
has
you.
had such longevity. Let's talk about Flash for a second.
Flash. Oh, sorry. I thought we were
Turned,
going to make
you turned Kevin onto the show,
Yes.
right? Okay. And then you got to be
Sorry,
on the
I'm
show.
going to be really annoying because I that's the other thing. I don't really like sitting
Where are you
down.
going?
I don't like sitting down when I do these. I like
Okay.
to face and talk, but it's
So
going to be
tell
weird
us-
because you're going to look up at me and
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean,
but-
I can walk around too, but that would be awkward for me. So I'm
So
gonna
you
stay.
don't have to. Well, I'll look at you like this.
So talk about Flash. Talk about your, Kevin obviously directed episode. You got to be in that episode.
Yes.
2 characters. One everyone knows. The other maybe not so much.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone. I know Kevin had mentioned it, but people who saw the Flash, it was awesome. It was so great because I love the show, and I got to, when I found out Kevin was doing it, I was like, oh, I get to come out and I'll get to hang out hopefully. And I had no idea they were going to put me in it. And Kevin tells the story way better because, of course, I wasn't there. But it's awesome because I was like, I asked him sort of if he can throw me in, but I know that, like, he's working for the studio, so I knew it wasn't like him being like, hey, I'm making my own movie and I'm going to write you into it. So I knew he couldn't definitely get me in. But, I said, if you can. But he said he went to his first, they don't give you the script till you get up there for him. And so when he got up there and he got the script, he said he was reading it and he saw the character, Jason, it's in the script. And he was like, he messed with me and sent me a screenshot. I was like, dude, they're going to put you in it. And then he's like, I'm just kidding. He goes, I have no idea who this character is.
You're like, that's not nice.
I know. I was like, I really was. I was like, no way, bro. And then I was like, you're a fool. I was a little bummed out. But then he said when he went and did the table read, that with the writers and everybody, that they're like, all right, so you think Jason will do this? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, we wrote Jason for your buddy because he's always with you, right? And he's like, yeah, but my buddy, you don't think he'll do it? And then they asked me if he thought that I would do it. And he said that he was like, oh my God, you have no idea that he will do this. And anyway, then he called me and told me, and I teared up a little bit, and I was very excited. Anyway, it's better when he tells it because it was pretty amazing. I got to go to set, go to the Arrow set, which I love. And yeah, the Flash set, I remember trying to get him to watch it for a while because as soon as they showed Grodd, I was like, dude, you'll dig it, man. Grodd's in it, and they made him look cool. And then he finally eventually watched it, and then he binge-watched it. The same thing with Game of Thrones. Took forever. I'm like, dude, you got to watch Game of Thrones. It's awesome. And then he didn't watch it. He wouldn't watch it until then he met George R.R. He was at a convention, and he was sitting at a table with him or a panel or something. And then he went home and watched it. And now he loves it. Now
It's like the best show
it's so amazing
ever. I love it.
It's amazing. And so anyway, I was super stoked. It's seriously, it was awesome. And the other character, if anyone's seen the episode, sorry, I got to walk out here now. If anyone watched the episode when Zoom's talking to all the metas, the camera, like, after it's on him, it goes to the metas, and then it zooms in and pans across all the characters. I'm the first guy it pans in, like a close-up of me. I have the metal helmet on, and I have this, like, sword axe type situation, and it was awesome. So I got to be a meta, too, even though you don't see me. But it was awesome.
It is nice to have, the writers of the Flash writing for you.
Yeah, that was
You
amazing.
know what I'm saying?
It was very sweet of them. It was very sweet. So I gotta look at myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's gonna do another episode. Don't shake your head at me, Ming.
I'm shaking my head
I
at
will
you.
throw you off the stage right in front of everyone.
I thought I left Jersey to get away from this, and here it just comes
Never
back
ever,
to me.
bro.
I can't even escape it in Kansas City. Thanks.
Anyway, I had fun, and hopefully he's going out to direct another episode, they told him, and so I'm going to weasel my way in, hopefully, again. I figure, what if each season I'm in as the same guy, I come out of the burger joint each season with a different girl. And it's just this character that drags on that he just keeps going on these dates.
And now that we've had the crossover, and now that we have the Flaro universe, I mean, it's open. There's open season for you on those shows.
I could be that character, just the guy who walks out going on dates on Arrow, Supergirl, Legends.
It's happening.
I could be in the time ship with my time boner. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, there's kids here, I bet. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I forget. Anyway, let's ask Ming some questions.
So you're like the Alfred Hitchcock of the DC TV universe.
Yes, that would be great.
I like it.
He's like the Stan Lee of the DC universe.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
you're
not,
right. Yes.
No,
definitely not.
but not.
But in a bunch, yes.
So we're going to take questions, line up, but
Wait, do you want to ask Ming something?
Well, I am.
No
while
one cares
they're
about me,
lining
it's
up, season 6 of Comic Book Men.
Yes, if anyone has
Ooh, I love booty. Shake that booty. Sorry. Yeah, that was all. Sorry if you guys didn't see. She was getting it going over there. She was like,
we love our sign language interpreters.
Yeah.
So show.
Sorry, that was great.
Show them the sign for bullshit.
Why is that the sign everyone knows?
Wait, what is it?
It's
sign
like
for
this, bullshit.
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 Like she wouldn't do it.
She did it when you weren't looking.
I love this sign for farting. I just had a fart real bad. Oh, I thought it was this. No, it can't be both. Oh yeah, that one. There you go. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Ming, congrats, season 6. We'll talk more about that, and I have some comic questions for you, but I want to start with the audience to make sure we get through everybody who has a question out here. So go ahead.
First of all, I love Comic Book Men.
Thank you.
What is your favorite comic?
My favorite comic right now, I've been reading the Marvel's all-new Hawkeye, and if anybody hasn't read it, it's amazing. The portrayal of Clint Barton, that's the one I want to see in the Marvel movies, not the one where he has a family and where he's vulnerable and all that. I want to see him, just that the premise of the book is this is what he's doing when he's not being an Avenger. So he's saving his building from like the Russian mob, and he's arguing with the other Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, and that I really love how that book has been going so far. And I even better than Clint Barton's the way they portray Kate Bishop. I love the female Hawkeye. I think that's amazing. Of all time, I'm just a huge Avengers fan. My first comic was Avengers 214. I got it when I was 6 years old. I think some kid gave it to me, and I was hooked from the beginning. And had that kid not given me that book, like I wouldn't be up here with Jay and Claire and with all you cool people. So.
Well, and actually, I mean, you transitioned from, way behind the camera, webmaster, on into, in front of the camera. What nugget of passion finally convinced Kevin to be like, okay, get over here. You're part of this.
I don't know. I started with Kevin. It was almost to the day 20 years ago. I was really bored one day, and I created a Clerks fan website. This is right after Clerks did come out, and I wanted to create like the end-all, be-all Clerks fan site. So what I did is I went out and I bought the Laserdisc, if anybody remembers those. It had all these extras on there, way before the DVDs would put the extras on there, and I ripped them all off and I put them up on the web, thus violating like 100 copyright laws. And
but no one knew back then.
Yeah, I figured like I'm Chinese. The Chinese don't have copyright laws. We bootleg stuff all the time. Like this is gonna be, you can't catch me. They don't catch those guys. And Kevin, thankfully he was a forward thinker. Most filmmakers or companies would be like, no, take that down. You're violating. You're taking money out of my pocket. You're taking food out of my mouth. Take that down. And instead he was like, hey man, this is cool. I think he cared more that people saw all the deleted scenes and stuff
Yeah.
that they ripped off the Laserdisc. And instead he gave me a job. So violating copyrights, kids bootlegging stuff, it works out sometimes.
Nice. Yes, we'll take the next question. Go ahead.
Hello. I'm Spike. I'm from Toronto. This is for Jason mainly. If you can play any DC and or Marvel character in a cinematic universe, who would you play?
I've mentioned this a bunch. You know what? I enjoy watching the comic book movies and stuff so much that I honestly don't. I wouldn't say I would turn it down, but I wouldn't want to play a main character just because I wouldn't be able to enjoy it as much. Like I guess I would say Deadshot, because Deadshot's like one of my favorite characters. I have him tattooed here, and I'm glad finally that they're putting Will Smith in the full costume in Suicide Squad movie. They're gonna have him in the full costume because on Smallville and Arrow and all that, they just always put that big round thing on his business, and I'm not digging it. But anyway, that's a character I would like to play, but I wouldn't like to play because, again, to me it's gonna be more enjoyable to sit and watch the Suicide Squad movie. I keep saying Squid movie. And enjoy it, because if I was up there and I was playing it in that same exact movie, like I think I would be sitting there like criticizing. I'd be like, oh man, I should have done that better. Oh man, I could have done a better backflip. Even though I can't do any backflips. But anyway, you get my point. I wouldn't be able to dig it as much. So I think that's, to say about any character. I enjoy, like Civil War. I went and saw the other 2 days ago. Kevin and I went and saw it. Oh man, it's so awesome. It really is so awesome to sit and watch these movies now with like the effects they can do. Like Black Panther was so dope to me, like watching him like 3-time kick up in the air, and oh my god. And I loved a little bit of humor. Ant-Man, when he becomes Giant Man, he's like, whoa. And then he's like, Cap, I think you lost your shield. Like, he was really funny. Anyway, the movie's so great. But I'm just saying, I dig watching him so much that I feel like any character I'd want to play and that movie came out, I wouldn't be able to enjoy the movie as much. But again, I'm not saying that if I got a call tomorrow and they're like, hey, we're going to be doing a prequel to Suicide and we want a young Deadshot. You, Mewes. I wouldn't say no, but I would say Deadshot, though.
Nice.
How great was that when he's Giant Man and they're trying to take him down? They're like, hey, you remember Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
That's how we're going to take him down. How awesome was that?
Oh, so it was really good.
Yeah, I think I'd
movie's great.
love to play Batman just because I'm the farthest from Batman that there was. Could you imagine like a 5'4" Batman who's like always positive? It's like, oh my God, this Batmobile's awesome. Like look at all these buttons. Like I love everything. Yeah.
I love that. I love that idea. Let's make that happen.
How about you? Let's ask about you. Who would you play?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I mean, I'm all about the MCU right now. I'm loving what they're doing. I love DC too, but Guardians is like my favorite of the flicks, probably. Although Civil War was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I loved Ant-Man too. And that's,
Great,
Peyton,
yeah.
I've worked with him before. So like I saw his humor that he had in his first film he ever directed translate into Ant-Man. And there were some genius scenes there with him like going from teeny to big, especially when he was learning how. I loved it. But I agree with what you said, Jason. Like the technology now, there's a different element to adaptations that we were missing even 10 years ago, and there's more. You don't watch them and you're not thinking, wow, that kind of looks janky or whatever. I mean, it's so fluid, and Marvel has like some of the best directors directing, and so it just makes a huge difference.
No, it's awesome. It's so great. I can't wait. I didn't know. Kevin laughed at me. We talked about it in the Q&A yesterday. I didn't know, because I don't sit and watch trailers and stuff that often. And I got really, which again, I'm almost happy I didn't at this point because it was so exciting to me. But when we went to go see the movie, the trailer pop, we got in there and I'm like putting my pretzels and my corn dogs down. And all of a sudden I hear the music and I look up and it's the trailer for the Star Wars Rogues. I didn't know that was coming out. I had no idea, honest to goodness. And
No,
I
they were breaking
I
it,
saw
yeah.
like December and I was like, wait, this December? Like, wait a second. And oh my God, I'm like, oh, it was so exciting. Yeah, like all these movies coming out are awesome.
Yeah,
to me.
I'm the same way though. I don't like to watch a lot of trailers because I feel like sometimes if I'm super excited about a movie, I'll maybe watch the first one they release and then I'm like, okay, that's good. I'm gonna cut myself off so I can like enjoy the experience.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, I wanted to ask Jason, what's your favorite movie that you've done with Kevin and why?
Favorite movie I've done with Kevin, and why? Mallrats for sure, because Mallrats, thank you. Jay and Bob, I had a blast on, don't get me wrong, and I'd say that's a very close second, but I think Mallrats stands out to me because, again, as I was saying in my first question and answer thingy, is it was the first studio movie, and it was such a surreal experience, and I was like 20 years old, and again, I'd never been out of Jersey, and now all of a sudden I'm staying in like a hotel in Minnesota, and they're giving me per diem, and I'm on like a real set, and they got stuntmen, and there's cables, and we got to hang, like when I'm like, where'd you get those wonderful toys, and we're like up in the air, and all that stuff, and Kevin dressing up in his cut, and they're swinging them. It just was so surreal those whole 3 months that we shot. We did rehearsing and blocking and shooting and everything, and then I got to meet Stan Lee, which was at the time and still now. Don't get me wrong. Each time I see him, I'm like, this is awesome. Look at this guy. I want to touch his butt. But it was so amazing to meet him back then, and then I got to meet Rooker and everyone Jay Lee was so fun to hang out with Jason Lee on set and stuff. He would goof around like. He's a lot of fun, and I don't know, just the whole experience was surreal. It really was, and it like the memory of it, like each time we've shot movies, I have such a blast on each one with Kevin, and everyone comes back, and it's like a sort of like going to camp because a lot of times it'll be the same script supervisor, same transpo guys if it's local. And like a lot of the same people you don't see for 2 years now, everyone's hanging out for 2 months, 3 months. And so it's just like camp. So I have such a blast. But again, to me, Mallrats sort of was the beginning of that. And again, I was young and had my first threesome on that movie for real. And it was awesome. My first and only, really. But the whole situation was amazing. So Mallrats is my favorite movie that we've done and had fun on and shot. Jay and Bob is definitely close second because Will Ferrell, all the people that was on there. I got the lightsaber, bong saber, whatever, with Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. I mean, come on, come on. So that was fun too. Sorry, I'm getting up again. See, I get antsy, and I gotta stretch my feet. But anyway.
Can I ask you something about Mallrats? I had heard this rumor that Brian and Walt they got bit parts in that.
Yes.
He didn't fanboy, but before that they were hired as PAs, as production assistants.
Oh yeah, Kevin brought everybody out, bro. Honestly, and again, that's what's so awesome. So when again, we've known each other, Walter and Brian from Comic Book Man. There's a dude named Ed who Kevin hung out with, and Scott Mosier and Dave Klein, who did camera operator. These were all people who shot Clerks and was part of Clerks and helped out with Clerks. And Kevin and Walter and Brian and Kevin and I all hung out and went to school together. And this dude, Ed, and Kevin got everyone jobs. He got them PA jobs, and he got Ed a grip job. And Dave worked the camera, and Scott was producer. So yeah, he brought out everyone. So it was awesome. What's his name came out? Sorry, which doesn't matter to everyone, but another buddy of his, which sorry, I'm blanking out because
I heard
Vinny.
I heard that Walt and Brian's PA experiences didn't go so well. I heard they thought it was going to be like a cush job, and all of a sudden people were like, "Boy, get me some coffee."
Yeah,
and Brian was like, "F this," and Walt was like, "Whoa,
quit.
what's going on here?" And they
Ed
get fired.
quit, Walter, Brian quit. Yeah, they all
quit.
left
They couldn't
their jobs.
handle the pressure.
No.
So they thought it was going to be like a cake job, and then they actually had to work.
Yeah, they
Can you imagine Brian Johnson fetching somebody a cup of coffee?
No. No. Yes. Hi.
So I watch Comic Book Man, and I was wondering, what do you think is the most valuable thing that somebody's brought in?
Ooh, I like that one. I like that question.
I know. Do you have an answer?
I have no idea. I haven't been on, but I'm just
mean-
curious because I'm sure there's stuff that comes on. I know there's like they had this really old school Justice League, like cave or the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, the
play set or
superpowers one.
something,
Yeah, and then
that
we
was
had
like
with the clubhouse too.
yeah,
the
and that
League
was
of-
like 10. I don't know. I forget how much the guy wanted for it, but
Oh, that playhouse. My usual answer for that is Stan Lee is probably the most valuable thing that's ever walked through the doors of the stash. Before there was one episode where one dude brings in this laundry box, and it had all these like $250,000 worth of comics in there. There's like All-Star 8, the first appearance of Wonder Woman.
$250,000
There's
in comics.
first appearance of Robin.
Very sweet.
Yeah, some dude brought it in, and once he found out, we told him to go auction them. I wasn't. They were like, call Kevin,
Yeah.
have him write a check for $750,000. We're like, what? We're like, we can't. I don't think he's gonna do that. So we told him to go auction them off. We found out once his family found out how much they were worth, his uncle took them and locked them in a safe deposit box and wasn't gonna share the loot with anybody. But that was the most, like dollar-wise, that was the most valuable thing ever that ever came in.
Yeah.
But Stan Lee, Jason Mewes, probably you guys are priceless.
I wasn't for sale though. I don't sell myself. I give it
Everyone's
away.
got their price, Jason.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, hi.
All right, hey Jason, this one is for you. Is there a possibility that there can be a Jay and Silent Bob 2, Part 2?
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back's like 2 or something.
Yeah.
I think it's possible because I think Kevin wanted to do Clerks 3. That sort of got pushed for now because Jeff Anderson's schedule was busy or something for the next year and a half. I don't know what exactly, but so we sort of had to push that to the side. And now Kevin's working on. He wants to do Mallrats 2, or Moose Jaws, which is part of the Tusk Yoga Hosers universe. So Jay and Bob will be in Mallrats 2 or Moose Jaws, but just smaller parts, just like in the, I guess, sort of like the first Clerks, how we were just in and out a little bit, but it was mainly about Dante and Randall. I think Kevin wants to have a movie or two with Jay and Bob in it, just a little bit, to like get a little piece, and then we'll do a Jay and Bob. So I feel like if we can get Mallrats going and Moose Jaws in a couple years, I feel like he'll want to sort of, before we get old and we can't even like get to the snooch to the news, then we'll do a Jay and Bob.
Can't we just-
you
we-
see
can't we
us like
just-
75 and shit, we're like, fuck, motherfuck, motherfuck, fuck, nudge.
Dude, I would watch that. I would call it
You
Jay.
would, right?
That's
I
like
would watch that.
We
you
could
gotta
do it in
just-
like a senior citizens home. Jay
Yes.
and Bob with just Jay trying to mac on like some 80-year-old lady and stuff.
Yes.
And he's got like his walk and he's like, hey baby, you ever have your asshole licked by a man? Oh wait, Silent Bob, wait up, motherfucker. You know what I mean? It'd be great. There you go. We're gonna do that. Anyway.
Yeah. I would totally watch it. Just call it Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. That's it. That's it.
it's strangely
That's what
appealing.
the podcast has been gearing up.
Strangely appealing. Yes.
Before our next question, I want to make sure are there any topics that you are not going to talk about?
Me?
Either of you?
No,
I don't
God,
really want
God,
to talk
no.
about my anus. That's always weird for me.
We'll leave that alone. All right.
I'm just kidding. I don't care.
I don't care either.
Don't
Hi.
tell. Hi.
I just started getting into watching or listening to the Jay and Silent Bob Get Old podcast. Speaking of Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. And so I may be a little behind on stuff, but I was wondering if you're still keeping count of how many days sober you are.
Yes. Are you asking me how many days?
Yes.
Thank you. It's 5 years, 10 months, and did we do a show? Today's Friday. Sorry, I know from yesterday. 18 days today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for asking. Thank you, honey. Thank you.
What's up, my friend?
Hey, Ming. Hey, Claire. Hello, Jay again.
Hey, bro.
everybody. So, I have Ming knows, a bag of random questions. I chose one, and I'm going to read it right now.
What's the question?
As Tina Turner once asked, what's love got to do with it?
Well, if you're gonna ask a question like that, you gotta stay on camera
I
for the
know.
answer.
I think they're making everybody leave when they're done, right? Did they push you away?
You obviously are very pleased with yourself. What does love have to do with it, Ming?
I mean,
Jay?
isn't
Jason?
the rebuttal for that, who needs a heart when a heart can be broken?
Yeah.
Can I tell a side story to that?
Should we go Aretha?
I had gone to a con in New Jersey a month ago, and there were celebrities there like Weird Al and Alice Cooper and like Rob Schneider and Meatloaf. But the only guy I wanted to meet there was the oiled up sax guy from the Lost Boys. He was there. I was like, holy crap. His name's Tim Capello. I was like, oh my God, he's there. I made a beeline to him, and he brought the sax, and he still looks pretty good. He's still jacked.
Wait,
But
which guy is this?
The oiled up sax guy from the Lost Boys. Remember, like, I still believe. Remember that? And the oiled up. You don't remember the oiled up? He's iconic in that movie.
The Lost Boys. I just remember like Keith Sutherland.
Yeah, you don't remember the oiled up sax guy? How could
Sax
you-
guy, like saxophone player.
Yeah,
sax,
remember that?
yeah.
How could you not remember that?
Was he part of the vampires?
No, there's a shot where he's playing on the boardwalk, but it's a really long shot. He's all oiled up and muscular, and I think he's. I remember that.
It's funny,
You
Ming
guys
remembers
remember
that.
Anyways, my side note to that is he played the saxophone on the "We Don't Need Another Hero" song, and that was my side note.
Nice. Yes.
Thank you guys for being here today. My question is for Ming. So on Comic Book Men, there's definitely a dynamic in the store where you're the one that gets picked on the most, and they kind of give you a hard time.
Yes.
Is that what the dynamic really is like in the store? Do they play it up for the show, or are they really that mean to you?
So
Which,
you're
if they are,
asking,
I'm sorry.
do I get made fun of as bad in real life as they do on the show?
Yeah.
The answer to that is no. It's worse in real life. Brian Johnson has a potty mouth.
Yeah.
He's probably he's a funny guy for sure, but he says some of the most raunchy stuff. And he knows he'll say stuff just off the cuff, knowing that it won't make it to air, but he'll say it anyways because he can't hold back. I would probably say about 80% of the things he says does not make it onto Comic Book Men. Even the network that brings you The Walking Dead, where zombies are getting stabbed, and Preacher, still too hot for them. I'll give you an example. Did anybody watch the episode where we tried to do stand-up comedy, and we failed? Brian had told a joke on there that got cut. I believe the joke was, what's the difference between Superman and Ming's parents? And the answer is that Superman is appreciative of a yellow sun.
Dang.
Yeah, so I get that all day. I get that all day. Anybody who listens to the Tell 'em Steve Dave podcast, the one that Walt and Brian do together, knows that I take that every day. So the answer is no, it's much worse in real life.
Yes. Hi.
Yeah, my question's for Jay. Congratulations again on 5+ years sober.
Thank you very much, sir.
I've got friends who are like in the throes of addiction, and what kind of advice do you have for someone like me who's concerned and want to help them?
You want to help your friends try to stay.
Yeah.
I don't. There's really not. It's too tough because I feel like I've realized because over the years, a lot of people would say you're only gonna be ready when the person's ready, and I do believe that because. For years I went back and forth, because Kevin would be like, hey, you're not going to be able to do Dogma if you don't get sober, and so you have to go to rehab and get off drugs. And Jay and Bob, you got to get off drugs, and he made me like come out and stay at his house, and I couldn't leave. But I wanted to do that because I wanted to be in the mood. I wanted to work, and he was upset, do the thing. But I'm saying until I was like literally like, wow, this is enough. Like I'm literally almost homeless, and I haven't worked, and I've lost no one's answering my phone calls anymore and stuff. It wasn't until I was ready. And so I'm saying there's not much you can really do or someone could do that you could try to keep them out of surroundings for sure. Like for me personally, I surround myself with good people. Like everyone I hang out with, are either sober, and even if they're not, and like I don't care if like one of my buddies like hey, at New Year's I did some lines of coke, because he can do it once a year and be fine. But I know that he would never do it around me. You know what I mean? This person, or so I feel like definitely the best thing is whoever you're talking about, these friends, if they have other friends that use and they'll use in front of them when they're trying to stay sober, then they're not, I don't think, good friends. And that you'd want to keep them away from those people that, like that would, if I went and drank a beer right now, my friend that's with me now, he's not here, or even Ming, I know Ming would like slap it out of my hand, and even if he didn't slap it out of my hand, I know he'd run right away and tell my wife, like I saw Jay drinking. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you surround yourself with people like that who care if you're going to do anything. And so I know you do, but I'm saying the only thing I can think of that you could help them with is if they have other friends, be like, look, dude, don't hang out with them. They're not going to, that person's going to maybe do coke tonight. And if you're around it, it's going to be hard for you not to say yes. And so, yeah, I just think keep them away from people that don't care. Surround yourself with people that do care, or those other people, your friends, to keep them around people that care. You get what I'm saying? Sort of, does that make sense? Yeah.
Thank you. And
Thanks.
Jason, you're an inspiration in that front. And, fantastic.
Thank you. Sorry, thank you.
Yes, let's take the next.
Last question.
Last question?
We get through the next couple. We could go quickly.
We'll do the last three, but they gotta be good ones,
I was
bro.
gonna high-five myself. I was the last question. You just took it away. That's okay. It's cool.
Sorry. You could go get behind the other guys.
I
if
was
you want.
like almost the next question.
Make it good.
Oh, no pressure. Thanks. Hey, this is my question for Jason. Hey, I'm a big fan.
Thanks,
like
bro.
all your work, and now I'm starting to expose. I mean that literally. My
you want me
older
to expose
children to your
myself?
work. Before I ask my question, just a quick solid in case my wife in the back asks. All your movies are PG.
Yes.
Because that's what I've been going with. So they're fine for the kids. I told her Dogma is just strict. It's like a religious documentary thing. But anyway. My question is, Kevin just announced, I think maybe this week, that he's going to be part of a new Buckeye Bonsai TV show. So my first question is, yes, the 5 people that know what that movie is. Do you have a part in it, and what do you think you're going to play?
I have no idea if I'll be able to weasel my way in, but I'm hoping so. Again, I would say, but I don't know. Like, again, it's so new right now. It's like, I know he's been going on meetings about it and stuff, but I don't even know if it's 100% set in stone that it's happening. I don't know if you got a tweet today or something you said, but that I didn't even see.
Kevin didn't tweet me. No, I just know it. I'm not expecting one.
Did he tweet about Buckaroo today?
If he does, I'll retweet it to you.
Please do, because I don't know, honestly. I just know that it's in motion. I know that, and he's been trying to work on Mallrats. There's a lot of things in the works, so I don't know right now. But I would hope if it does go that he's able to squeeze me in. But again, if he's doing it for another network, sort of like The Flash, he can't automatically put me in. So, but hopefully that's the case. I'm able to weasel my way in.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Yes, we'll take the last 2.
Thank you, Jason. Big fan.
Thank you, sir.
Is there ever going to be a Bloodman and Chronic movie?
Oh, that would
Ever.
That would be awesome. I mean, again, that would have to be Kevin, and I push for it. I mean, I want to do another cartoon, like Jay and Bob's Super Groovy cartoon movie with more Bluntman and Chronic. But it's possible. Again, I think it's all about if Kevin get one of these other movies going, and then we do maybe a Jay and Bob, and then maybe we end it off with some Bluntman and Chronic. I think that'd be awesome, especially in a couple of years, like with some of we get some like cool stunt dudes and some of the like Black Panther, like Chronic's like Black Panther fighting and shit, like pow, 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 pow. Oh, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, that's
So
believable.
We'll see. Hopefully you push for it, I'll push for it, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last
Yes.
question, bro. Be good. Make it strong. Make it hard.
And long.
Yes.
Love you, Claire.
I always like to make it hard and long.
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
No.
What?
I said I always love to make it hard and long.
Yes, please.
Now, you've talked a lot previously about your struggles with addiction. And I'm wondering, what do you credit for yourself personally to your continued sobriety?
What do I credit to my
What's your biggest credit to it? Like, what do you think
my
is
credit?
the biggest
Why do I think I'm able to stay sober right now? Sort of. I would definitely, again, like I was saying to him, I definitely think a big part has been surrounding myself. The last, hopefully, July 2nd, if all goes smooth, you're not supposed to say ahead of time because you never know. But if all goes smooth, July 2nd will be 6 years. But I definitely think, it's just getting to that point where I was sort of had enough and I was scared. But again, I think surrounding myself with my wife is very supportive, and then now having the baby, things are working a lot, and the podcast has been a big help for sure, because again, I'm accountable, and the more I talk about it, I don't forget. Like, the thing is, I almost had 5 years, and I got kidney stones. And this is how Kevin and I started talking about even doing the podcast, because I had almost 5 years, and he's like, dude, I don't get it. You were doing so well. Why did you go back? And it was because I got kidney stones, and I got a shot of Demerol, and then they gave me some pain medicine. And in my head, I hadn't been going to meetings. I didn't really talk about stuff at that point. And I almost forgot, oh, I could take these, and I'll be fine. It's for pain. But it triggered that, and the next thing you know, it was a month, and then 2 months. Next thing you know, it was 5 months, and I'm like, holy shit, it's 5 months, and I don't really need this anymore, but I'm taking 20 and 30 a day. So I'm just saying, I explained that to Kevin. I was like, dude, I'm not really accountable to anybody at that point, and I just wasn't doing what I was supposed to, and I almost forgot. So the podcast, my point is the podcast, I feel like keeps me talking about it constantly so I don't forget, because it's like, all right, I'll tell stories and talk about it, but also being accountable to everybody who listens. And again, just now being up here for whatever this hour, people are asking about it, and I'm accountable to you guys. So it's like, I'm like, oh, well, I have now. So, and that's been a big fear. Like, in the first few years, I remember waking up from sweating from dreams, because in my dream, I drank and smoked crack or whatever. And I'm like, oh God, I got to tell everyone on the podcast now that I don't have 2 years anymore. I have and I would hate to disappoint, of course, my family and my wife and all that, but again, everybody else too who listen. So there's many things, but again, I think I just got to a point, it was getting really bad, that I just that was it. I made the decision, I gotta stop this, because it's getting bad. But again, then I relapsed again because the kidney stones, whatever. It's tough, so you never know, and I feel really good right now, and I can't imagine using, especially with my baby and stuff. I'm going to show a picture of the baby before we go, because you guys can zoom in right on the camera, hopefully. But it's been a big help to me, but definitely the podcast is up there with the family and the baby and Kevin and you guys, and I'm finding this picture right now, and you're gonna love it. Thank you. Here's one of me and the babies. Right here. Let's see. I don't know, can we zoom in here somewhere?
Yeah, it's getting zoom. Aww.
Can't really see it though. Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome.
So I just take pictures and pictures of her, and it's been awesome. And so I got her in her helmet. But anyway, she's been a big reason and big help. So, but again, my main thing, I think, honestly, the podcast is a huge part of it. So everyone who does listen and keeps track of the days and listens and everything, I do really, really appreciate it. And thank you all for being here listening to me and Ming. And I don't know if you ended somehow.
Jason, you're a total inspiration. The podcast is amazing. Ming, I love you. Where are the women on Comic Book Men? Come on now.
Hey, I'm all for it.
2016.
There was a woman in the pilot or second episode, right? They had a girl that was.
That's a story for another.
Oh,
for
sorry.
Another
All right.
Q&A.
Here you go. Thank you for coming, everybody.
You guys, give it up for Jason Mewes and Ming Chen.
Come by tomorrow. I'll be here all day. Me and Ming next to each other.